This is a story dated August 1st, 2018, USA Today. Probably back in July, I did a story on an Ohio police chief that died from a drug overdose in his bathroom. Well, it's now coming out that that chief of police took the drugs from the evidence room, drugs that were for other drug cases. He was taking those drugs, and believe me, this ain't the first time this man did this. He was probably using the drugs that they were getting from bust and getting high on it, which is not shocking. I used to live in a town called Berlin, New Jersey, and the police were taking the drugs from the evidence room for other cases and selling the drugs out on the streets. So, this just go to show you the level of corruption that goes on in law enforcement, which we're all familiar with. America's got the most corrupt, rotten ass police department in the world. And they will do anything to lie, to cheat, to steal, to kill. And that's all this department does. They are more criminal than the people that they're handling out in public. And it's already been proven that most of these cops got rap sheets and they got the nerve to be in a position to be handling the public. Get out of here. And it just go to show you how bad the situation is when you see stories like this. Ohio police chief overdosed on drugs taken from evidence room, investigators say, and this came out August 1st, 2018. An Ohio police chief who died of a fentanyl overdose allegedly took the drugs from the department's evidence room, authorities say. Kirkersville Police Chief James Hughes Jr., 35, was found unresponsive in the bathroom of his Reynoldsburg home on May 25th. He was pronounced dead a short time later. Reynoldsburg Police Department Lieutenant Ron Wright said the department is still investigating, but evidence showed the drugs were possibly evidence in other cases. So he's doing up the drugs from drug busts or, them getting drugs off of suspects. And they're the biggest suspects of them all, right? Wright said it appears Hughes took the drugs himself from the evidence room. There was packaging that indicated that he was taking controlled substances from there, he said. An autopsy was conducted by the Franklin County Coroner's Office, and the results released July 13th indicate Hughes died of an acute intoxication of fentanyl. Records from the coroner's office indicate 2 syringes were recovered and tested for the presence of substances, which may have contributed to Hughes' death. One syringe had no drugs in it. The other was positive for fentanyl. A plastic sandwich bag found at the scene tested positive for cocaine, and a third syringe contained liquid was determined to be positive for fentanyl. Hughes was named police chief on March 13th during a 2-minute special village council meeting. And if memory serves me correct, there were people that were opposed to this guy even being the police chief because he had a not so good track record. But in America, those things don't matter. You could be the most corrupt person in the universe and come here and be police chief. His hiring came less than a week after the prior chief, Jeff Finley, had unexpectedly resigned, citing irreconcilable differences with Kirkersville Mayor Terry Ashcraft. Prior to Hughes' death, the village had been planning to increase his weekly schedule from 20 hours to 32 hours. He was making $14 an hour at the time of his death. That's pretty low for chief of police. Damn, there's people in retail stores that make more money than that. Hughes' checkered history was discovered by the Advocate. After his hiring in Kirkersville, the mayor and village council members were reluctant or declined to answer any questions about the history, which included a misdemeanor conviction in Whitehall for disorderly conduct in 2013 incident at a fast food restaurant drive-through in which Hughes had used a racial slur. So this is the person they picked as chief of police. And I remember reading about that. You know, there were people that did not even want him as chief of police. But, you know, like I said, in America, these folks don't even care who's on their police forces. You know, I did a story on my old channel that talked about how many of these cops got rap sheets out here. They're out here policing you, and their asses are convicted criminals themselves. But see, this is how America want to run their society. They like these raunchy ass cops out here roughing up the public, especially black people. You know, they love that. So that's the kind of mentality and thought process that they want their cops to have. So they want the lowest of the low out on the street policing us. And apparently they have no regards to who is sitting in these jobs as police chiefs either. You know, America is and always will be the most illegitimate law enforcement on the face of the earth, you know, and then you want to know why people don't take your law enforcement seriously, and they shouldn't be taken seriously. Look at the kind of creatures you got running things. Who is supposed to respect that? So you got cops and apparently this police chief, and you can best believe he ain't the only one. I'm sure there's quite a few on these police forces that are drug addicts. They sure act like one. And they're stealing the drugs from the evidence room so that they can have a good old time getting high. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.